Why would anybody focus on small wins instead of the big goals with their dogs? There is a huge advantage to this, and I will let you in on a little secret in the end. But first, let's look at why the small wins are actually more important than the big goals we're striving to achieve with our dog. First of all, maybe you have heard the saying, energy follows attention. What that means is that whatever we focus on, we will get more of. That's how our brains work. So our brains are constantly trying to give us more of whatever we are focusing all of our energy on. And if we focus all of our energy on the negatives and the things that don't work and the things we haven't achieved with our dogs yet, and we are frustrated and maybe even fearful because our dogs are still going crazy and maybe something could happen and everything's horrible, then our brains are wired to give us more of that. And we don't want that, right? We want to step away from that as fast as possible. So what happens is, as long as we are not reaching our goals with our dogs fast enough, our brains are actually sabotaging our success. We might never reach it because all we are feeling is anger and frustration and sadness and embarrassment, and all of these are negative, right? So if we want more success with our dogs, if we want to reach our goals faster, we have to look for the things that make us happy, and that's the little wins. And those can be anything, like it can be the small glances your dog shoots at you whenever you're outside, or your dog stops for a moment longer before escalating, or your dog growls in front of the food bowl instead of snapping at you immediately. All of those can be little wins, and they're actually huge ones if we think about it, right? They are a step closer to our goals. And keep in mind, this all happens subconsciously, so you don't even recognize maybe that your brain is giving you the things you don't want, and you're just wondering why nothing gets better, right? This might be the reason. And now I'm gonna tell you the little secret. The secret that actually brought me to this conclusion and brought me to learning about how the brain works and mindset and all of these things. I live with a dog who has some fear issues, right? You have maybe seen Sammy in some videos. He brought me to the brink of desperation so many times, because what happens is he is scared of like sounds and people and dogs and very many things, and it all has gotten a lot better over the years. But every year, twice a year, he has huge setbacks, and this is normal for fearful dogs especially, but also for reactivity, also for other things that might be going wrong with your dog. Setbacks are normal, and if you keep focusing and going crazy about the setbacks, the negatives, the things that don't work, you will get stuck in that. I got stuck in that. Happened to me too. So whenever we had our first years together and Sammy had these setbacks, I would just go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, trying to figure out why this is happening and focusing so much on him having a setback and doubting the training and doubting everything and getting angry at people for making sounds instead of just accepting that this is happening and working against it. Now I know that this is happening. Now I know that whenever it becomes warm again and there are suddenly more sounds outside because people are just going outside working in their gardens, right? And they are making sounds, and this happens very quickly. I know he is going to have a setback, but whenever it hits, we are just working against it. I know that there are little wins, and I am focusing on that. I am celebrating him for being curious. I'm celebrating him for overcoming the little fears, for just being brave. And we are going through these setbacks in record time now. Things that lasted for weeks on end now are just a few days, or maybe a week, or maybe 2 weeks. But it's not as horrible, neither for him nor for me, because we know we can get through this. And if you want to know how you can celebrate these little wins more effectively, how you can catch your dog being awesome, watch this.